We will now hear from Ryan Chapman, our head men's and women's cross-country coach.
Yeah, similar to Greg's second year here. So last year was a different kind of preseason, media talk. It was following in the footsteps of Steve Johnson, who was here for a long, long time and had a lot of success, and really feel like I know my way around this place. We had a really nice year last year. Cross country, the men got back to nationals. We had a 21st place finish, and the women knocked on the door. We were one of the first teams in the nation to not make the meet, finished 5th in the region, but we did have a young lady, Ashlyn Boggy, finish 16th at the meet for an All-American spot. And it's hard to stop with cross country. Our sport continues into indoor track and outdoor track, but we'll keep it to the fall today. This year we brought in a tremendous group. A tremendous group of young men and young women, a lot of numbers on the men's side, and that was a necessity. We have an interesting number, an interesting mix. 7 seniors on our men's team, 1 junior, and then just a handful, three sophomores. So we wound up bringing in 22 new kids this year. So the makeup of the team is different. It's changed, and that will be it'll be a challenge in many respects, but it will also serve as a challenge to our competitors because we have a tremendous class coming in. On the women's side, we have a lot of returners, so we didn't need a class that large, but we certainly have a lot of unfinished business on the women's side, a lot of work to do on both sides for it to be a tremendous year. So love to take any questions you have. See if I got some good answers for you.
Who are some of the leaders within that large freshman class that you brought in? I recognize Ali's name, but not familiar with the company.
Yeah, well, leaders we'll see, right? Unfortunately, talent doesn't always, coexist with leadership. We've got to know them about 3 days. As far as talent, it's deep. There's a lot of depth. We have, just from the state of Iowa, 8 men that were all-state. Are here in this incoming class. On paper, our top our top freshman is Sam Pinkowski from lacrosse. Sam was runner-up in the state of Wisconsin, big schools in both the mile and the 3,200. Sam on paper is the fastest recruit, one of the fastest recruits in Wartburg history. Ali was tremendous, no doubt. Iowa City West. Spencer Wareham had a tremendous state meet. Spencer's from Gowrie, Iowa. But again, I feel like if I start going down my roster and start naming these freshmen, I might elongate your question and also miss out on somebody. Leave them. So I don't want to leave anybody sore. First week of the season. But needless to say, we need those freshmen to not necessarily be freshmen and to just jump right in. There's a lot of urgency in our sport. It's a different kind of sport in that there is no bench. They jump in from the get-go, and we'll need some performances, early on. So.
What's the most important thing you learned in year 1 that you feel can help the program here and in your second season?
Yeah, Mike said it, with men's soccer, culture. It's all about culture, and we were really able to use that culture, the legacy of what Wartburg distance running is all about, and it's a storied legacy. On the women's side, we have the greatest runner in the history of the division. She's an alum. On the men's side, we have one of the greatest. I mean, we have between those two something to the tune of 20 national championships between 2 people, and we don't throw that legacy out and bank on it. Bringing in recruits. Year in and year out. There's more to it than that, but it is there. It's in your back pocket. We are, when it comes to Division III athletics, we are a household name when it comes to distance running, and we have high expectations. And it was nice coming in to not have to remind anyone what those expectations were. It was nice to not have to stand on a soapbox and say, hey, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we're here for. The young men and women coming in to Wartburg, they know. Many of them are here because of those expectations and because they want to push themselves, because they want to be great. So that was something that was a tremendous asset, a tremendous boon, jumping into a program where I did not have to say, these are my expectations, but I could jump right in and say, I'm on board with what the expectations have always been, with what your expectations are coming into Wartburg. So, yeah.
So one of your returning seniors, Eli Kaczynski, was a national qualifier last year for track. How do you think that experience will help impact his contributions to the team and to the culture with the cross-country team this year?
Yeah, great question. Eli is a different runner than he was last year. When Eli qualified for nationals in the 10,000-meter run, he had about a 90-second PR to do it. He is a different runner. Coming off that performance, he wound up winning the 5K and the 10K, a pretty tough double. So a 5K and a 10K in just 2 days to beat a lot of really talented athletes in our conference. He's ready to go. Just getting top 35 All-American at the national meet is certainly not his goal. He wants to be, a top 10 runner. And confidence-wise, there's really nothing stopping him at this point. As far as a leadership role, we lost some great leaders last year. Jerry Frawley, Kylos Coquer, Lee Scott, Kyle Reed, Zach Wells. We had a great senior class, a lot of leadership, and we're really going to challenge Eli to take over the reins in that regard. We don't need to challenge him in regards to his goal. His goals are pretty simple. He wants to be running with the best of the best. He wants to drop some times. He wants to get some school records. But the leadership element, he's always been able to bank on great leaders. Bennett Moser, some great leaders. This year, he's an opportunity to not just be a great runner, but also be a great leader.
You mentioned earlier the tradition, and you alluded to Missy Buttery, and I was thinking the incoming freshmen were kindergarten when she graduated. How much is your role in building the tradition? I know Katie Jo with SID helps with this, being kind of a historian for your program, because, tradition, you got kids here for 4 years and then gone. Is it difficult to recall, to make sure that history is still there so that your tradition can survive?
Well, the good thing is that there were those that were able to get the torch from Missy. Since then, we had your Alana Nabnitz, you had your Laura, Sigmunds, your national champs in that regard. Your Hattie Vaughters. KJ, Sammy Brewitt, just tremendous runners. So there's that aspect. There's also the aspect that Coach Newsom and I love to remind all runners, of this tradition by putting tremendous amounts of posters up. We love to do that with track and cross country. We keep various print shops in the Cedar Valley open year-round, working for us. But it's really not something that I've had to, remind. It really wasn't that long ago that that this tremendous success existed. So, and secondly, the second part of that, and this goes back to your question. The alumni base is tremendous. It's tremendous. They make themselves known. Missy Buttery's at many of our meets. She's coaching at Bethel. Missy Buttery had many conversations with Ashlyn Boggy last year and cheered for her in races on the corner. Laura Sigmund was around as an assistant coach for us last year. When we have any sort of alumni outing, you get scores and scores of alums that show up. Regional meet, scores and scores. Conference meet we're hosting this year. I expect to have a multitude of alums, not just a handful, but 40, 50, 60 alums out there cheering, reminding the girls and the men, the men and women that this is important. And when they put on the uniform, they're not just running for themselves, but they're running for all those great runners.
So you have Carl Jeschke on the team as well. He's the student body president this year.
We do.
Do you think he'll be able to play a role in the leadership? You've spoken a bit about leadership and needing people to help carry forward. You just spoke about your alumni coming in and reminding them how important it is to be a part of this team. Mm-hmm. Do you think as the student body president he'd have some sort of influence?
President Carl, 100%. We're absolutely, we're so excited. Carl came to me last year and he said, Coach, this is something that I'd like to do. Do you think I'd be able, to give equal time to that venture and also to my running? And my response might not sound that that coach-like. And I said, who cares? You want to be a student body president? That's a tremendous thing. All right. If that takes away from if you have to miss a practice once a week to be the student body president, but that's something you want to do, tremendous. That's in a sense why many of our student athletes come to Wartburg, because they can do so many different things. Does it have influence? Does it have impact? Absolutely. Our cross-country runners get first dibs at the president. They might know when outfly is. All right, maybe he swears he's not going to tell him. But Carl's a tremendous story, even if he wasn't the president. Carl came to our program as a sophomore, having never ran before. His times were, they were something. I mean, he had times. He did finish races. But compared to, Carl is a different type of runner. Carl will be in the mix. He will be, up there scoring quite highly in many of our meets. Carl very well might have a conference spot come track season. So simply the work ethic he's put in, that's in a sense why he's the president, here at Wartburg, because he's such a hard worker. So no doubt, I have 7 seniors this year, and I expect them all to provide great leadership. Yeah. Other
Thank
questions?
you. Thank you for your time. That's
you're
all. Oh, I want to talk about conference real quick and the importance of hosting the meet to propel you to regionals and beyond.
Yeah. Hosting conference will be fun. We host a big meet September 30th, the Dan Houston meet. So that meet's going to be bigger this year because of the conference meet. Anytime you have something in your backyard, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of pride that goes into that. Even growing up, you have friends over. You don't want to lose in your own backyard. You know every little aspect, every little facet of that course. We'll be certainly training out there, and we have big goals. We have big goals. Both. The women fell short to Nebraska Wesleyan last year. The men, we lost by a couple points to Loris. Loris is going to be tremendous this year. They're coming back. They're 10th in the nation, and we were 21st. We think we can compete very well with them. Frankly, on the men's side, I think, I would be so bold as to say that our incoming freshman class, might be one of the best classes in the entire country. We're excited to see what we can do on the women's side. We can win this conference. We can get back to nationals, and so we'll have high goals, and a lot of it will start on that course. So.